Zoned, and Mr. Man. Gentlemen, welcome back.
Welcome.
How's it going?
All right, Mr. Man, how are you doing today? Good to have you back on here for the first time this season. You guys feel ready for the season?
Yeah, we're excited. There's a couple shaky things in the off season. Obviously, we lost some players, but we're feeling good. We've been practicing, so we're ready.
All right, and then Zoned, first time here in the Gold League. You guys have had one match so far. Didn't go your way. Why don't you guys go ahead and break down your off-season a little bit, the roster changes you made, what you expect out of them, and then your first match day, if you would.
We made a pretty significant change in the offseason. We added 4 players, you saw. We added a lot of people that have previous Gold League experience. I think that will help us going into our games. Obviously, the last game Eclipse didn't go as well as we wanted to. Got 5-1, but a lot of the rounds are really close. Made a lot of small mistakes that I think we'll have fixed by tonight, and hopefully, we'll get a better score line than that tonight.
All right, fair enough. Now, Mr. Man, you talked about some roster changes, losing players. You lost Bales, who's been one of your superstar players for a little while, and then you've brought in Pupil and Big Cheese. How are they fitting into your new lineup? Are they picking up the slack that they have to from Bales?
Yeah, they're fitting in pretty well. Master Pupil, initially we weren't too sure of, but he ended up working out really great. And same with Big Cheese. Big Cheese, he's an awesome heavy tank player, and he has a lot of experience in the game. So.
Okay, and then roster changes. I glossed over it. Zon, you kind of mentioned it. You're making 4 roster changes from last season. These are all brand new players, and they're all in your starting lineup. Why do you guys make such a dramatic change from what you ran last season to what you're running right now?
I think we really wanted to pick up Gold League experience. People had experience playing under pressure and experience playing against other really good teams. Seeing we've been in the past Silver League for 2 seasons, we wanted players that had a lot of Gold League experience. We have people like Chase, Ali, Knight, people who have played in Gold League before, and so I think pick up that experience. People with a lot of calling experience is going to help us a lot.
All right, Zone, any final thoughts for Aquatic AM60s or any of your fans out there?
Nothing really. Good luck, have fun, guys.
All right, Mr. Man, any final words?
Same thing. Good luck. Have fun.
All right, you too. We'll see you on the battlefield. Good luck. Have fun.
Peace out, guys. All right.
About what I expected out of both of them. Zon seems rather cool and calm considering he's new here, and this is arguably maybe out of his depth. We'll have to see how they adjust. And then Mr. Man, cool as a cucumber as always. He's not one to get rattled. And he always puts up pretty solid points. Yeah. So what do you think about Bales leaving? Because that one kind of sets some alarm bells off my head.
Meh.
Meh?
Meh. If he's gone, he's gone. I mean, based on the performance of the team, I wouldn't be surprised if you don't score top 4, but maybe if you get even top 3, a lot of the time top players will decide to move on. Because the guys who tend to perform a little bit higher than everyone else, sometimes they start to notice that there's a trend, and then they decide maybe I want to go somewhere else or take a break because, well, this was a rough season, or I didn't like the feeling of being the best player.
Yeah, no, Bale's story in this case is he's actually studying abroad in Australia.
Ah, so he's just out of here.
So he's out of North America, and he's actually joined Team Efficiency over there while he's studying abroad.
Oh, he'll be fine. He'll be fine over in that scene.
Yeah, so if you guys watch the APAC region on the weekends, you can see him play over there. However, we are about 60 seconds away from this match starting. Now that we've talked to the captains, your predictions still hold about where you think they were?
I don't know, man. I'm throwing it out the window.
Throwing it out the window?
Yeah, if I were making a prediction...
Don't feel confident about it?
I'd be lying if I told you I believed in my prediction anymore.
You were just so far off on the first one?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, fair enough.
I could have been worse. I could have been worse.
You picked the right winner.
Yeah, I picked the right winner, just decided it was going to be closer than it was.
Yep, and our first map is going to be Cliff. I can tell you guys, there's not no surprises here. It looks like 5A, 5 bad chats, and an STRV coming out 4F7. Meanwhile, Aquatic AM60s, 3 5As, Big Cheese and Pupil both playing those, and then 4 bat chats, so nothing too surprising. Now, the STRV, it is F7 on defense. Do you think one line, or do you think maybe the F5 boost, or A5 boost, excuse me?
No, why one line?
There is a climb that we saw this morning on the APAC region, B1. You can kind of shut down that donut from relative safety. It is a decent spot that could be used from.
I feel like, I don't know. No, I just don't like it. I saw it too. It doesn't feel safe. Yeah. It feels like you're going to get left out of a fight when it happens somewhere else, inevitably. Yeah. The only time I ever was okay with a tank going there was a scout, Okay. Just a scout, say hi and leave. abruptly, please. Because it's just a good spot to die in.
Okay, and Chase Potato is actually going to be used as a scout in a 5A B2, just sitting there in the bush where he can spot the one line. The rest of the tank's going to the high ground. Now, one thing I do remember, I watched a good bit of the Silver League matches last season, in Danger Close, even in the playoffs. They really favored the backside of the hill, sticking towards the 7-8 line, especially up in the backfield, and not so much towards the 1-2-3 line. We only see the one bad chat in the 5A over there. So it looks like some of their tendencies have remained.
Ah, and look at this. There's a little counterfire. You see in the southwest of the map? You see those 5As all stacked up?
They are hoping that someone makes that mistake and hits that goat ramp at E6.
Yep, just cycling around, trying to see what they can find. But I don't think, I think they're going to give up. They give up. Yep, they've decided nothing will be going to the hill. Won't be able to get that advantage this time. And this little strategy comes around every once in a while where you take a few tanks and you snipe a counter of position as an early run. We'll have to see where the 5As decide to go. And it's up into the donut. There we go.
And just holding passive right now in this D3 bush. He should spot these heavy tanks pretty soon. He's just poking around just far enough that if they crest, they should get spotted. And they have an idea that they're, because blind fire went out right towards Clicked, and the Stirrup is actually going to get a shot in there. Nice shot from Spirit Walker.
On to Marsh 166. A little more blind fire coming out again. Seeing if we can get any connections, but not quite. Not quite.
If you want the Hail Mary fantasy picks, Spirit Walker has seemed very consistent, top performer, very smart tactically. And then Ali the Persian Dude is already a fan favorite amongst many, so definitely someone to keep an eye on. I hope we get a Ali the Persian Dude face off at one of these points. It's always a real character to have on.
Yeah, I'll take it or leave it.
And they're spotting top of the hill right now, just kind of playing chicken with each other. Zone poking up. Felix poking up on the other side. And it looks like they're just getting ready to move over right now.
And you know what, Brox? Because of that, let's go ahead and take a little listen in with the aquatic M60s and see what they're up to.
I'm here, Dundee.
I am.
Okay. Alright,
I'm not lit.
We're going.
Got 14 on load, Felix.
I'm lit. It's a Wizzy. Fuck.
You want me committing around like under here, like really quick, or no? I mean, it's yeah. I'll probably probably. Yeah, we got fucked hard.
Where's Zalon? If you guys have shots on him, I don't know.
He's down. Lights up. No, we don't have shots on anything.
Oh, that's another batch. That's 2 batch hats up here.
All right.
And Marsh taking another shot there. You kind of heard Aquatic M60s. They're trying to figure out, you know, which piece of the puzzle to take away to make the rest of this fall down. And so far, they haven't found the answer. Spirit Walker does get lit up and takes a lot of damage.
Yes, but I think the biggest thing to note out of that was the confidence from Aquatic M60s of their fate in this battle. They already have recognized that this really hasn't gone their way, and that really this isn't probably going to work out in their best interest.
And they had some really choice words once they spotted Chase Potato in the 5A.
Oh my God, Mr. Man. Some sick driving skills. He's dead now, but I'm going to give him some credit. He made one of the smoothest drops of about 50 meters I've ever seen.
Yep, and Pupil getting focused out. He's down to a 1-shot right now. This is going very well for F7. Aquatic M60s falling apart. They clearly you know, weren't ready for that 5A there. They weren't really sure what they should do, and overall, this is going very well for the new boys.
Oh yeah. There's not much else to say aside from that. Like, this hasn't been a very intricate battle. This has been a very straightforward, just they shot you guys a bunch.
Well, this has been a very...
didn't dig out their positions.
Yeah, it's been very, hey, here's our defense. You know exactly where our tanks are. What are you going to do about it? And Aquatic AM60s so far just kind of put their hands up in the air. Maybe they arguably needed to push F7 themselves.
They don't know what to do. It's difficult when you run into those iron, or rather steel walls, where it's just crossfire and strong positions that are hard to attack. Like, hey, what do you do?
And that's why what Comps talks about so often, practice, is so important. The more you practice, the more you can see, you can experience. So when you get to a situation like this, there's a lot less that can surprise you. Yeah. And F7 putting their first point up on the board.
There we go. That's it. Nicely played. They're going to switch sides, and we'll see what happens next.
And Spirit Walker putting up some very, very solid damage early on. So, you know, once again, if you're looking for that dark horse fantasy pick, I think he's definitely one of the solid choices for it.
You think so?
Yeah, well, I mean, 4,200 damage in this first game tonight.
Is he on your game?
Not on my team right now. Once again, this is one of those ones where you're trying to make up ground. You know, maybe later in the season, you're looking for someone that not a lot of people are going to pick, so you can kind of maybe make some ground on them. That would definitely be one to look at in the right match. Versus, you know, Elevator Eclipse, maybe not so much, but versus a team like Aquatic AM60s or Dare, definitely someone I think is a viable option.
Fair enough. I'll go with that.
And as we get ready for our next battle, let's go ahead and take a look at some replays real quick.
Yeah.
Mr. Man getting focused out.
This is it. This is just a formality at this point. F7 decides to attack because they have such an advantage that, well, why not? You know? If you're going to win, just take the engagement. It works out.
Yep, and that's something that I've seen a lot of teams do. We'll get back to that in one second. Let's go over the damage here real quick. Spirit Walker putting up almost 100 fantasy points, 4,200 damage. Very strong opening game. Ali the Persian Dude and Knight both having pretty solid games to the two new additions. And actually then Chase Potato, the third new addition, all having pretty consistent fantasy points. And remember, Chase Potato was scouting a lot, sitting in that base, so he got a lot of spotting and assistance damage from doing such, which is why he had such high fantasy points. Yep. And then Aquatic AM60 is really kind of struggling. Mr. Man, who is on my fantasy team, not having a good match tonight. He had an insane match day one, put up over like 500 fantasy points, I think. So
yeah, but hold on, just hold on a little bit. Just wait. It's just battle number one, folks. Everything might work out for itself.
I'm not giving up hope. You know, earlier it started off bad for me. Eclipse took the first 2 rounds, kind of had me a little bit worried. But I think Aquatic AM60s, I think, well, they better wake up. They have to. They're going to be losing the first game to F7, so we'll have to see what happens as we get ready for our next battle.
Yeah, and battle number ones can tend to be a wash anyway.
Yeah,
they're kind of the one team wakes up, the other one's like, oh wait, we started. Okay, got it.
Yep, and some little intricacies in both these lineups that I definitely like. Looking at it, F7, 2 5As, 3 Batchats, a TVP, and a Sheridan. So we're going to see that for second time. Let's see here. Can I see him? Let's see here. It looks like he is running the derp, so keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, M60 is a Kronwagen, 5 Batchats, and an STRV 103B. So once again, most likely that Sturv going up on the A5 boost, and he's heading in that direction right now. The Kronwagen.
Nice to see that back.
Yeah, I love the Kronwagen. It kind of fell out of the meta for a little while, especially when the mouse got buffed. It only has 300 pen on the heat shells, so it can struggle with some very thickly armored tanks. However, on a map like this, with a lot of bad chats and other stuff around, it'll do just fine. Yeah,
it's going to perform fairly well. In fact, it could do a phenomenal job if Big Cheese makes it up his little climb effectively.
Yeah.
This is something I see heavy tanks mix up sometimes.
It used to be a lot harder than it is now. Now with the new physics and the way it's changed around a little bit, you can do it a lot more consistently. And just sitting there in that spot where you can play hold down, it can be a really lethal tank. Just look at this. Just look at his view real quick. So remember, the Kronwagen turret armor, basically impenetrable. I mean, most of the time you see people just give up shooting at it, or they load HE and they try to lob some HE shells at it, hope to get some damage. But when it's in a good hold down spot, you're not going to do a whole lot about it. And he's really going to lock down that middle lane. You see a lot of teams try to push around that 5 line for the offense, trying to open up an angle, and he'll just be there ready to punish it as the HE shell for 500 from Spirit Walker, making that Sheridan work. And I was just talking about HE being a good tool against it. That right there is why.
HE always deals damage. That's pretty much its tagline. There you go. And also, it's the perfect counter. turns out that it's perfect for countering out Kronwagens.
Yeah. Well, in the Sheridan, we saw T49s become meta back in the 754.
Yeah, but that was
for a while.
different. That was different.
I think it's very similar. I think it's
no, the Sheridan's better, Rox. It's just better.
It's just better.
It's just a better version of everything.
At the end of the day, tier for tier, you have a bunch of light tanks playing the hill, and you have a gun that does a lot of damage at point blank. So, like I said there, match day.
The more
just all you gotta know.
The more everything changes, the more it stays the same.
Yeah,
we just find ways of doing that.
Derp's gonna derp, and we'll have to see if he can make it work. He fires off another shot. Doesn't get a connection this time though.
It was in the same county though.
Yeah, I think he was aiming at the bush. Even if Big Cheese had gone into that bush, maybe passive, trying to spot.
And also remember the size of the reticle at that range.
Yeah.
You're not exactly happy.
Even if you fully aim on a Sheridan or a T49, it's gonna take a little while.
Yeah, you probably get it.
Yeah, but that's what I said. Over the middle, working the depressions. The Sheridan has good gun depression, so it can kind of work those ridges and find those sneaky shots onto the sides or the back of bat chats, which are really soft. And those HE shells, even though they don't have a lot of pen, it should be enough to penetrate a bat chat. Yeah. And I say should penetrate a bat chat, but we see a lot of things not penetrate a bat chat. Well, but you think they would.
Well, that's why you put like slopey armor on it. Yeah.
Yep.
That's the whole point.
Got to balance the weight versus the actual armor. And obviously, a bat chat needs to be able to move quickly, and it is still 25 tons. That's why it's 25T. So definitely something to keep an eye on.
No way. Knowledge.
But that's relatively light for a tank, especially when you have tanks like the E100 or the Mouse that weigh, hundreds of tons.
Yeah.
So, angling the armor definitely makes it a little bit more effective, and you get those ridiculous RNG bounces that really shouldn't happen.
No, they should. I love the bat chat. It's fair and balanced.
You also love your scout tanks.
Yeah. Mediums are just heavy scouts.
Well, Chase Potato showed us that heavies can be scouts in the right roles, too.
Gosh darn right.
And another shot from Spirit Walker. He's just rifling off shots. I don't even know that what he's shooting at is spotted right now. I think he's just firing off blind shots, trying to get some lucky connections.
Yeah, they recognized that shells were coming from Mr. Man's position because they were starting to hit in the vicinity over there in Echo 3, Foxtrot 3. That when you notice where the shells are coming from, you say, oh, there's a tank there. Hey, guys, could you blind fire this and this ridge? And you got it. It works out. But at what cost of time? Because we've wasted 5 minutes for not a lot of gains right now. F7 needs to get stuff done.
Yeah, both teams, struggling to identify what the other team's doing defensively and come up with a way to break it. Often it's like playing Jenga. It's just moving the right piece to get the rest to fall over. Well, Jenga's the opposite of that. It's kind of what you have to do. You want to find the piece that's going to make the rest fall over. And so far, neither team has been able to do it.
Inverse Jenga.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just kind of blop it over, I guess.
Yeah, well, you could argue that that's like some sort of YOLO all-in strat where you just throw everything at a wall and hope you kill something.
But Jenga doesn't shoot back.
Very true. Very true. Weird game of Jenga you're playing over there. I'm just
playing with the ideas, fleshing them out, seeing where we go.
Well, if you get the giant set of Jenga, the 8-foot tall one, you knock that over and you don't back up quickly enough, that'll spit back.
Here lies James Rockstar Grieve. He wanted to play giant Jenga.
Looks so cool. Anyways, push coming out here. Halo pushing down the one line. 5A closing right behind them.
Get clicked. Clicks on Pupil.
Pupil playing a bat chat. That's something new. Generally a heavy tank player. You don't see him in bat chats a whole lot.
Yeah, you're right. A little bit more often there. But in Aquatic, he might just be a bat player. Of course, almost everyone on Aquatic M60s is by default a bat chat player.
You kind of have to argue that everyone in the league is a bat chat player at most points.
Because it's the best tank ever.
It's a tool that you really want to have in your shed, as you will. It's something that you want to be able to play when you need it. Because sometimes 7 bat chats is a thing. We've seen it before. We're very close to it. 5 bat chats and 2 tier 9 bat chats. It is a thing that teams will do. So it's, something that everyone at the end of the day should have.
What is Ollie doing?
He's just covering the rest of his team in the backfield in case M60s try to change things up. Remember yesterday, we saw the dare match where they were fighting over the top of the hill.
Yeah.
And 07 gave them the overmatch once they got spotted on the one line and they dumped over on the hill because they had the overmatch up there. They took the isolation. This, you could argue, is a countermeasure to that. They're giving some tanks on the one line. They're saying, come kill our Sheridan, and then there's going to be tanks in the backfield ready to punish. So kind of a little bit of bait and switch.
is a little far out though if a fight happens. I'm wondering what is F7 going to do here? They've got 3 minutes left.
The push has to come at some point.
Yeah, F7 go. 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 There you go.
Maybe they need a call for help, you know, phone friends.
They got it. They got it. They're going. We just have to wait for them. Just a second. See Zone just doing it.
Poke it, say do something. And feel like Potato getting caught out. He may go down here. It's going to be a free tank. Maybe this is the first piece that F7 need.
Almost.
They are up by about 4,000 HP with 3 minutes left.
Almost.
Big Cheese is getting hit pretty hard down there by Halo Walker. Bounces another. By Halo Walker, by Halo.
Halo Walker. I don't know what that is.
That's a combination of Halo and Spirit, but Halo's going to take a shot in return. He's down to a 2-shot.
This needs a little bit more aggression here from F7. They've got the hit points. They need to just push forward, take some stronger positions, but I did not enjoy seeing Knight out in the open like he is. I think really could have gotten away with getting forward.
We're going to see Halo leave, and what I think is going to happen here is Get Clicked On is going to make a push for this one cap, maybe across the top, and when he does that and all the guns start shooting him, they're going to dump over on the hill and maybe try to take advantage of all the turrets being broken. As Spirit Walker does finally pick up Feel My Potato, good pick there for Spirit.
Yep, he'll turn it around, go find Giggles, Felix, it looks like. 2 of them, just kind of waiting. But a minute, 50 seconds left. That's the 2-minute warning that you're hearing in game as F7 is starting to close in. I'm a little worried they're not going to have enough time, but it's still within a reasonable reach.
Chase Potato taking a lot of damage in that 5A, and he's going to go down to the SDRV of Mr. Man.
And Spirit Walker moves on in, takes a shot from Giggles. How many do they have?
Here comes Ali. He's find the kill shot onto Giggles, or he should. Spirit Walker's going to come over, and he gets the kill shot onto Felix. Good play there out of Aquatic F6, or out of F7, excuse me. And now it is going to be a 6v4, a minute 20 left. Can F7 close in time and get the kills onto these final tanks?
That's going to be the challenge. Spirit Walker is just bounding down the hill.
Go for the Goomba.
He's just going for the dirt. Get it! He shoots, misses.
He misses, but Zone's going to be able to come over and pick that up. And then Mr. Man should be able to put another shot into him in that STRV. 1 minute left. Halo does pick up Pupil. 2 tanks left alive. One of them, the full HP Sturv. In the backfield, it's going to be difficult for them to get the kill.
But they can see him. Mr. Man is spotted. Could actually save this game if he manages to stay alive.
Heat shells coming out from Knight, holding for that angle. He knows he's only going to get 1 chance at this.
30 seconds left. Big Cheese is down below. Get Clicked On's moving in for that kill. So is Halo. 1 shot for 409.
Halo
Big
should
Cheese.
find the kill shot on the Big Cheese. 25 seconds left. Zone is closing. Mr. Man should be able to pick up the kill.
He's
now
really
stay alive.
He's really well hidden at this point. Actually, he should be able to save it. Just barely not quite having the angle. Leaves his side open.
10 seconds. Can they do it? Can they close?
There's 1 shell left for Knight. Lets it go. Does not connect.
5 seconds. Halo has 1 shot. Can he do it? 3 seconds. 2 seconds. He looks for the shot. He doesn't get it.
He jumps off the cliff.
And AM60s hold on to tie it 1-1.
Wow.
Talk about the seat of your pants.
Yup. That was it. F7 didn't go soon enough. They just needed a little sooner. Just that's it.
And my fantasy team loves Mr. Man right now. Everyone that was disappointed after that first game, you can relax. So pretty solid stuff there. We'll get to the damage in just a minute.
F7 really should have won that though.
They did everything they needed to do, just 2 minutes too late.
Yeah,
I think is the best way to break that down. They made the decisive pushes. They started to find those pieces from that Jenga puzzle they needed to move. And at the end of the day, it was just, a little bit too late, right? When the timer got down, another 10, 15 seconds, they might have been able to find the kill, but Mr. Man played it perfectly up there.
Yeah, it's just frustrating because you're like, oh, okay, F7, you know how to bring it to Aquatic M60s.
Yeah, and the other thing was this point was
and this
Spirit.
is Cliff.
Yeah.
This is a map that Aquatic isn't half bad.
Yeah, they should. They've always been kind of. I guess the best term is bipolar on the map. They've had some good games and they've had some bad games on it. You kind of never know what you're going to get out of them when they get to this map.
Fair enough. Okay, they're very RNG.
That's another way to put it. And the next map we're going to move on to is going to be Mines. So another map that M60s have been very good at in the past. And look at Mr. Man, 3,800 damage, 4 kills, 102 fantasy points.
Of course.
Halo, Knight, Spirit get clicked on, all doing decent. Spirit Walker putting up another 75 fantasy points. Second page here, Pupil definitely struggling down there at the bottom. Persian dude also struggling that bat chat. He did get that vital kill up on the hill. And then Feel My Potato, you know, down there got caught out, only really able to do 1 point of damage.
And
now we're moving on to Mines.
Yeah.
Now, if you remember, 2 seasons ago, this was Aquatic M60's fortress. They had some absurd record, like 17-0 on it until one point, and then they lost like 1 game in the playoffs. Like, this is a map that they have proven that they understand very, very well.
It happens, yeah. And that's just the thing about Mines, though, is that the right defense can win fairly consistently. I think with the recent changes to the kind of Mines meta, some of the new strats, new plays.
New tanks.
New tanks. But less dependent on new tanks, but more dependent on just the new strats, like the mouse across the open deal. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. That
changes the whole dynamic of the fortress strat for Mines defense. With that, now there is a strategy which it's bold, but it actually can manage to break the defense. It just is.
We've seen a lot of ideas so far this season in our match day and a half on how to break that turtle, but I don't think we've seen anyone win on offense yet on Mines. I'm pretty sure the defensive teams have won pretty much every battle so far, at least on the broadcast matches. I don't know about the offline.
Yeah, I'll have to check back. But Mines is pretty defensive-sided.
Yeah, and especially with the new E4 meta, the high alpha tank destroyers, they can deal with the mice, because the mice kind of threw things off for a little while.
But then they reduce hit points and a little bit of that DPM.
The mouse a little bit. And as the lineups do come in here, we are still going to see a mouse out of F7, Rheinmetall Borsig, an E3, 3 bat chats, and a T57. Meanwhile, the defending team of Aquatic M60s coming in here with an IS4, a mouse, a 5A, 2 bat jets, and 2 E4s. So both teams favoring the American tank destroyers, E3 and some E4s.
Okay, fair enough.
The E3 on offense, though, what do you make of that?
Meh.
Meh?
Meh. I don't like E3s.
I wonder if maybe hold down on the 2 cap? Something that can stare at that K3 gap?
Yeah, but what are you bringing an E3 for that you don't bring something else?
You can hit something very, very hard if they peek around, like an E4. If they peek around that bottom corner there.
But your armor's not good enough that a player at this skill level is going to have kind of trouble. Like
hold down, maybe? Hold down. The cupola on the E3 is pretty thick. So
yeah, but who's he hold down behind?
Well, if he's playing on the 2 cap, he'll have the natural terrain to be hold down on from that angle. A little bit of a deflate on the backside of that cap there, right in front of get clicked on here.
I'm skeptical. Look at the opening move though. This is fun. Zoned.
M60 is getting punished. Giggles taking a lot of damage. And the 3 bat jets, they're going to push down here. So far, only paid 6. Oh, Knight getting cut out. Is he going to get to safety? He does.
He's alive. He'll stay alive for now.
But Giggles is down to a 1-shot already, and these bat jets are not going to stop. No brakes on this train. They're going to push around. They should find the kill shot in just a second. Mr. Man trying to do what he can to cover. That is going to be zoned, picking up Giggles.
Mr. Man is in a rough position. This is not looking good for Aquatic.
And F7 playing this perfectly.
There we go. Mr. Man's down. Now slow it down on the west side if you're F7. Just take a minute, breathe, let everyone else do their job on the other parts of the map, reposition, take the hill, and then you can finish this off. If Knight, Halo, and Zone get aggressive, they could risk throwing away all of the advantage they have just gained. And that's what we're going to see next.
And look at this. Get clicked on in the Panzerwagen. Guess what? Because of all those guns distracted, he's trying to do the climb and he misses it. You can still do that climb, it's just more exposed. But guess what? Because they've taken down 2 tanks, they've opened up that 1 line, there's no one watching it right now. So if he gets speed again and he gets up there on that climb, look at all the positions that they're in right now. The IS-4, the E3, or the E4, excuse me. That PZ could just bleed him.
Yeah, he's just waiting around for a sec. Now look at this. Chase Potato, Marsh are going to start squaring off in the middle of the map. And that's going to be, I think this is going to be the major breaking point to watch for.
Nice shot. Putting some shots in. And if you were wondering what Get Clicked On was sitting there, he is the caller for the team. So my guess is he wanted to take a second, talk with the team, click on the map, kind of break things down without trying to worry about driving his tank, something that some callers will do.
Also, sometimes just disappearing for a minute in a scout tank is actually quite useful.
But what I do like about that out of F7 is that shows some composure. They know that there are 2 tanks up right now, that they're in a good place. They have 8 minutes still. So taking the time to make sure they don't screw anything up. Now they just have to follow through. And he is going for that climb once again.
Oh, look at this counter aggression too. He's gonna be.
Nope.
Nope. Anyway, Big Cheese has actually moved in above Ali and Chase. That's actually going to be great for the control of aquatic M60s. This will allow them to at least hold on to their positions. So, yay. They're just down a lot on hit. They're not down too much on hit points, just on tanks. And they're kind of caught in a weird crossfire.
Here he goes again. Let's see if third time's a charm. And it's not.
That hurts. It always hurts when that happens. Because you're missing up like one tiny nuanced part of it and you're just forgetting for a sec. And also, it's not an easy jump anymore.
Well, it's not. I think it's
not
still
easy.
It's
It
just
isn't.
new. I think the biggest thing is it's new.
I think we're also underestimating how easy or how difficult things are for everyone. There are people who are exceptional at this game, and when they can't get this stuff,
At some point, you just have to go. All right, I'm done with that.
nah, it's worked out before. You can just spend the whole match doing that. They're up 2 tanks.
If we were watching Teal Team 6, I'd say go for it.
Ooh,
But
wow.
I don't see any Novas on this team.
Ouch.
Okay. And once again, does not get it.
Hi.
What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result?
Yeah.
And just so no one's confused, I do love Nova. He is a very, very solid player, but sometimes people get carried away. Anyways, I digress.
Yeah.
E4, trying to find a shot with that HE.
Oh, he got it. He got the shot. It was like 70 damage, but totally worth it. Fantasy points.
Yeah, and HP is just about even despite being 2 tanks up right now. They need to get clicked on to get into this fight. What he doesn't know is there's no one sitting at that J7 corner. He could just drive into the base, which...
Yeah, but what if you flip yourself? Huh? How about that for an idea? You almost did it. Huh? Flip your tank?
Do you ever like sit there and watch your TV and just want to like yell at it and just say, stop it?
All the time.
Like you're watching a TV show and you know one of your favorite characters just does something dumb, like you're just like, why? You know better. I'm watching it right now. Why? You've blown 5 minutes trying to get this climb.
What's he missing?
And he does it.
Oh, never
Finally.
mind. There, that's the example of success.
Gets it done.
See? Perseverance. Huh?
And now let's see if he can actually make use of the position up here now that he's spent 5 minutes trying to do it.
Hey. In the meantime, yes, everyone, you've seen the cap timer going up. It's at 70%. Spirit Walker is spotted. HE goes out. Felix farms more fantasy points.
Now we'll have to see if Get Clicked On can start getting in some damage because they spent so much time making sure that he got up here. He does have a rear shot on Big Cheese, so maybe he can start. He actually doesn't penetrate that shot off the back of a 5A.
No, he doesn't have.
You hate to see it. You hate to see it.
Just spot everything. Just spot everything. Everyone will move in, kill it. Like at this point, with this many guns up, you should be able to make a push.
Well, once again, what they don't realize is he could have just driven in the base. He could have just driven down the 9 line and played that corner and been
really,
enough of a
really
nuisance.
annoying.
Been annoying, made turrets turn, open the door that F7 need right now. Instead, they're sitting here waiting for him to get some more damage, and now the gig is up. They're going to know he's here. He does have a nice shot on the backside there. Does get the penetrating shot. And M60s are just left with no choices. A poor opening play, not getting the better of the trades, and they've chosen to slow it down, and they've just kind of stayed complacent, relying on the crossfires. It's kind of a tough place for your aquatic M60s. You want them to maybe change something, get a little bit more aggressive with that sloppy of an opening play. You're down 2 tanks, you want to change it up. But this lineup isn't flexible. They're kind of stuck where they are right now without many options, just kind of turning around and hoping that they can find the shots and the opponent plays into them, as the cap has gone to 70% for F7 right now.
It's working out.
And
187.
This is the exact spot that I mentioned that E3 on. So he did get the HE reset, but he's just on the backside there. He is hold down enough to not have his lower plate exposed, as Pupil is getting focused out.
Yeah, look at Morphic as well. He's almost dead.
Actually has a shot from the hill. Nope, he gets safe. He gets behind that rock. He fires a shot at Chase Potato. Now Pupil's backing up, and Click is looking for that shot.
Spirit Walker's on fire. It's on fire. Now he's not on fire, finally. There goes Pupil.
Goes another tank, 2.5 minutes.
Slowly but surely. Looks like F7's gonna just slow play it out. Which is painful for Aquatic to sit through. And stressful on the guys in F7, but...
These sort of rounds can be super demoralizing if you're on the defensive side of it, because you start off so poorly down, but then it draws out. You have 10 minutes to sit there and just know that you're playing, you know, a downhill fight the whole time. So, you know, it could be kind of draining, so just keep an eye on that for Aquatic AM60s. 2 minutes left, 2 tanks. They should be able to clean this one up, unlike the last.
Yeah, and a team that thinks they're going to lose usually finds a way of making it happen. So... that's why it's important, guys.
And just down to Felix in that E4. They know exactly where he is. Just a matter of getting shots. Get clicked on, lining up the shot. Nice high roll, 359. Felix does take down Zone in the bat chat. Getting a little bit greedy there. And Spirit Walker, actually the E3 is going to pick up the kill.
Nice. All right. F7 picking up another.
Not bad.
Do you want to change your prediction?
No, maybe, but that's only because M60s is just, I haven't, you know, it took 2 games for Elevate to warm up earlier for them to say, look, we're here to play, slow start, bad map choice. But now that
was Battle 3.
That was on a map that I believe is Aquatic AM60's choice as well. So on their map, battle number 3, you know, they need to wake up. You know, my scoreline's already, no, it still could be correct because that is 2-1, but not close yet. So
I don't know, man. I
Ali
don't know.
the Persian dude. Whew.
That was a pretty convincing win.
Yeah, that was pretty decisive. Only losing Zone at the end there, who probably got a little bit greedy with the fantasy points.
Ah, yes. And now are we going to do a montage of get clicked on? Yeah.
There
Finally
we go.
made it. There you go.
Only took 6 tries.
That's
okay,
the
you need to spend some more time in the training room, more time hanging out with Nova.
Yeah, seriously. Nova's a monster.
Here. Pretty decisive play there at the end from F7. You know, just some little things that kind of show the lack of polish. Look at the damage. Felix, 85 fantasy points. Ali the Persian dude, 3,200 damage, and they're 90 fantasy points almost. 2 kills, get clicked on. Did make up for it in the end, despite wasting 5 minutes of his team's time. Did end up getting 75 fantasy points, almost 3k damage. Zone, Chase Potato doing decent. Spirit Walker having a rather quiet game, as his Pupil not making that E4 work. You know, kind of a tough position he was put in.
8%? I mean, I know he was just throwing shots out there a lot of the time, but I don't think I've ever actually seen 8% as an accuracy.
Well, you gotta remember, he was kind of out of the fight. He was on that one line in the E3. It's just blind firing the bush over and over again. But yeah, no,
that's weird.
Yep.
Just managing to get 8%.
You want to know who would be happy about that? Is GeForcer. I remember one first thing GeForcer said is, I pride myself on having one of the worst accuracies in the league, because that just means I'm blind firing the most.
Actually, having played with GeForcer back in the day, blind fire used to be something we practiced quite a bit.
You had to. Teams have different types of systems to deal with it, and lineups come in to battle number 4. Seeing that PZ7 coming out for F7, a lot of teams liking that. The Type 5, Bat Chat, the 2E4s, and Chase Potato in the T100. Meanwhile, M60s coming in here with a mouse, a 5A, 3 Bat Chats, a TVP, and the RHM Borsig of their own. Be interesting to see where Chase Potato ends up going in that light tank.
We shall see. Mr. Man is going to head straight to the middle, and his scout catching all of the T110 E4 going to the south.
And the T100 is going to get over to the 1 line unspotted. No one trading shots right now. He should be able to get into that H2 spot okay.
Mr. Man's passive.
So what that spot's doing is he's trying to spot the climb he's looking at right now. He got there quickly because he's one of the fastest tanks of the game.
Yep.
And then he was able to get there and make sure they don't boost anything up there, which...
And he gets a proxy.
Yep, and he also proxies tanks below. So good opening play from M60s, you know, understanding what their strong and weak points are on the map and trying to counter it out. So
yeah, as they've established they couldn't see a tank spotted up there. That doesn't mean that didn't happen. Just
highly unlikely.
Yeah, exactly. They can almost eliminate that as a possibility. They've seen now a mouse and who was that? Was that the 5A? And they've also seen, sorry, no, that was the Type 5 get clicked on. And then they've also seen the Panzer 7. They've seen an E4. Aquatic has spotted most of the positions.
So speaking of spotting, this is a little bit cheeky here out of Chase Potato, just trying to put his tank up as high as he can.
Yeah, because
a little bit peeking over.
Because technically you actually spot from that track point, I believe. But you also get spotted from that track point.
Yeah, but it's relatively low exposure point, and no one's going to blind fire this position unless you're spotted, which isn't blind fire at that point.
Yeah.
Also direct fire.
Yeah. Artillery could deal with this pretty well.
Artillery, yeah, definitely.
Artillery would love this.
We haven't actually seen too much, well, any artillery on NA. We've seen it on both EU and APAC. We've seen some artillery come out so far, and even the RU region, but so far not. Now let's find out if Mr. Man can do the climb first try. Felix in position.
Si se puede.
And nope.
Rip. Well, are we going to start keeping a jump counter?
Might have to be a thing.
Okay. We'll start. 1.
It's kind of disappointing out of both teams, to be honest. You know, you think this is something they would have put enough time in.
Yeah, but
practice, 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 practice. And it's not just you know, either of these two teams, but anyone that's like struggling with this. If you're going to use it, you're going to rely on it. You need to have it.
So
There we go.
how about a second time jump?
Oh!
Ouch! Ow! What?
Rip my fantasy points. Let's get some F's going in chat. Pay your respects.
All right, guys, we're done here. This is it. Just pack it up. We're good. Okay.
Remember how I said they changed the boost so it could be a little easier? It's still there, but it could be countered easily. Yeah. That is exactly why you don't do it.
Ow.
The difference between F7 and M60s was F7 killed 2 tanks on the one line and made tanks turn around, and so they knew they could do this safely. M60s tried to go for it blind, while their team has a Type 4, which just showed us why they brought, or Type 5, which just showed us exactly why they brought it.
Yeah, just don't catch the egg, man. How?
That still hurts. I feel bad for Mr. Man.
Oy. I don't want to hear the comms. Like I would ask to listen to the comms of Aquatic right now, but I don't want to hear it. Like, you know?
We can all assume what that sounds like right now.
Oh goodness. Okay. Well, as Aquatic recovers from that, they're gonna decide, let's just go to the other side of the map.
I guess you could say they jumped on the nope that train to nope that ville and are just driving to the other side of the map.
Yes. Yes.
I just don't even know what to say right now. You hate to see it. You love to see it, but you hate to see it.
I think Aquatic. Oh, but Felix, what? Why? What is he doing? Why is he shooting at things? Don't shoot.
Blind fire, maybe? Like trying to see if he's spotted?
On the move? It's like
firing in the air, losing his camo.
If you're a heavy tank and you fire on the move that says, I want to take fire, please shoot me.
Ali, the Persian dude, putting a nice shot there. That had to go through the turret or the hatch of that 5A.
It actually went to the driver's hatch, dead center.
Yeah, but Chase Potato getting out of there takes 1 shot. He's getting behind the rock, trying to stay somewhere where he'll be safe.
Giggles, Marsh paying the toll. Yeah. This should
Look at the spot that Chase is in right now. This is actually really cool because no one can shoot him unless they commit onto him. There's so many guns behind him that it's going to be hard for them to get damage without bleeding, you know, HP in return.
But fun fact about that position too. See the bush? You can actually not get spotted, and if you pick the right angle, fire on Chase Potato. So if everyone doesn't, if Giggles and Morphic go unspotted, go dark, and there's no one else to spot them aside from Chase, they can actually blind fire Chase Potatoes.
They don't know he's here. They're just getting spotted. They don't know he's here.
Ouch. Wow. What used to be just a gimme position that it was obvious.
Ooh, but Halo is getting bled in that PZ7. The Bat Chats must have watched the earlier match. They know how to counter it.
And, well, this is not going well. This will not continue to go well.
They might get the pick on that tank, but look at how much of a toll Aquatic M60s have paid so far in this match. All their Bat Chats are damaged.
Oh, Bat Chat in the backfield. That too. They just spotted it. Aquatic just found it. It's zoned.
Chase Potato tried to take a little snapshot there. They're like, hey guys, I'm here. Hello. And now they know he's there, and now they're just sitting there shaking their heads like, oh, that makes sense.
Now I just want zone to go. Why is he holding back?
The mouse. Bat chat versus mouse. Unless he has heat loaded ahead of time, which I don't know that he does for sure. It's kind of a push you just don't want to make because the guns on that one line, the TVP and other stuff, can't cover him from pretty much any angle that he'd have to engage that mouse from unless he commits. And if he commits over to, say, B2, he's going to just cross all those guns and bleed too much HP.
I was thinking A5, not that far forward. And now he takes fire. See, now you're taking fire because you're holding back. And the mouse is moving against you because it knows. TVP's moved in because now they know you're in the area because you decided, well, to not quite go and not quite stay. Zone goes down. That's a mistake. Next time it's dedicate and die dealing a little more damage or leave altogether.
And the HE shot goes on to Felix there from Ali the Persian doing that Type 5.
You know what, if no one covers Knight right now on this attack, that's going to be rough.
Well, some cover fire's coming in just fine right now. Giggles takes a shot. Chase Potato's actually not spotted in the bush. Pulls forward, tries to take a shot, actually bounces. Kind of a tough angle to fire shots out through there. Danger. F7 holding on there. Old habits die hard. Knight takes a shot.
That's the gun damage. Knight's trying to block, but oh, he's on fire, and he goes down. That's Knight, and now it's 5 versus 5. Aquatic has found their way.
2.5 minutes, 2,600 HP up. Still possible for Aquatic M60s. They've done a good job at clawing their way back into this.
Yeah, F7 has not really been proactive enough as far as making sure their defenses are ready for those weird angles. Normally, a team like Eclipse Elevate would be able to do this.
Look at get clicked on. They don't know he's here.
No, they
if they spot him, this is over. This is danger close, possibly throwing this game.
All right. Well,
this is most of their HP out of the fight.
Pupil is in the area. He may be able to proxy. E4's up.
He's not going to check it, but if Get Clicked On turns around, he'll be back in position. But Spirit is spotted right now as TVP firing off shots through the bush. Blind shot comes out there. Nice hit.
That was blind.
Yeah.
That was blind.
It's a nice shot.
He took that hit. Yeah, that hurts.
But Pupil did get his clip out and really let him down. It's a tough situation to be in for Aquatic M60s, and F7 just holding on for dear life as Spirit does take another shot, and TVP is going to be loaded. He should find the kill shot. There it goes. Pupil getting the kill.
T100 spotted. PC7 spotted. Type 5 finally
Mouse
spotted.
pushing right up the middle. Get clicked on. Snaps the shot off. Almost 500 on the side. And all these tanks for F7 just cowering back in the corners, trying not to be the easy isolations.
Pupil just lets the rest of his shells go. Time's short. Don't have a lot of time to do this. There's not a lot of time left to win this. Chase Potato going down to 123.
Halo getting a nice shot there. Needs to get his armor turned towards the side.
It's 3 tanks, by the way. Remember, it's 3 left alive for this side of Aquatic. F7 might be able to get this.
And that should pretty much do it with that mouse going down because Halo's still going to be there. The tanks are still supporting them, and there's no one else in position to get close in the next 30 seconds. And this should be F7 pulling ahead with a 3-1 victory.
Should be. Although, give credit. Aquatic was scrappy. They were very scrappy.
Remember, this is a map they were very comfortable on, so they understand this puzzle they're looking at, but F7 doing what they need to, and Ali's going to get clipped out here as he pulls forward. Pupil in position. E4 looks for the shot. Pupil just played it ever so carefully. Baits the shot out perfectly from multiple tanks there.
Nice.
Good play for Pupil, but that is going to be it. That is going to be a 3-1 lead for F7 as we leave what was once Aquatic M60's fortress.
Yeah, they lost twice.
It's
what?
With the roster changes, you know, no longer having Bales, change to the map, maybe they're just not quite as adjusted to the way the map's changed. But this is a map that was once, everyone remembers it. It was just, they were so good at this map. It was so much fun to watch them play, and they still clearly have an understanding of what they want to do. But F7 just seemed to be that one step ahead this game.
Yeah, give them some credit here. They're not playing poorly at all. Just, I don't know.
And one thing I do want to talk about also is F7, well, they won. A lot of little mistakes still. A lot of things that could have hurt them more. Now, that was a good opening play, but like little things like get clicked on. If that Type 5, if he got spotted out in that north and got caught out of position, he's not fast enough to get into that fight. So if they had chosen to attack right at that moment, you know, maybe they could have gotten into that fight. As we look at the damage here.
Pupil gonna lead the way. That's TVP. He was probably our superstar right there from Aquatic the entire battle. He got in the high ground, was just placing shots where they needed to be. And then Big Cheese in the mouse as well. 3,700. Nice breakaway for him from the rest of the pack.
Get clicked on, still doing, 3K damage, 60 fantasy points, not bad. Zoned, getting caught out there early on, only getting off partial clip. Spirit Walker only getting off 2 real shots in that E4, only 24 fantasy points, so slowing down a little bit. Had some good opening games, but he slowed down. Then poor Mr. Man, just, another goose egg, but not really his fault. So sad to see.
So I've just been informed that the offline matches, 07 versus Teal Team 6, apparently is a score of 3-5, favored Teal Team 6.
So Teal Team 6 picking up a win.
Yeah, and
not
then Dare versus Top Tier. I'm told Dare is ahead, 5-3.
So Dare wins.
Yep.
So pretty much status quo. Top tier still struggling with their current roster, so waiting for the suspensions to end before they get back to full strength, arguably. Teal Team 6, first win in the Gold League. Congratulations to them. I said when they played Elevate, they did a lot of things right, but Elevate just showing why they're Elevate, why they're the apex of the league, as you were. And, Teal Team 6, though, versus another opponent that's, arguably a little bit more at their level, they put up a good result. I'll have to go back and watch the replays of that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to watch. All right, so we are now going to Ghost Town. 2 wins here by F7 takes it away. That finishes us off, and that's a 5-1. Aquatic does not want to start the season like that.
Yep.
If they want to come back, they have to now win pretty much the next 4 in a row, or else they're risking going to that tiebreaker, and that's less points, and yada, yada, yada. It's not as good.
Yep, lineups coming in. 2 mice, 2 5As, 2 bat chats, and an STRV for the defense of F7. Meanwhile, Aquatic AM60s, 2 50Bs, 2 mice, a T57, a 5A, and a bat chat. Now, Aquatic AM60s have struggled a little bit on Ghost Town in the past, so we'll have to see what they've done in their offseason. Maybe change things around, new players, maybe they have a stronger lineup. And then, not too familiar with F7 on Ghost Town. I know down in the Silver League they played it off and on, but I don't think it was one of the maps they were particularly comfortable on.
We shall see.
So, what do you make of this lineup from Aquatic AM60s? 2 50Bs. 50Bs kind of fell out of meta.
And the 57?
And the 57.
And
57 I can be okay with because it fires the heat shells, dealing with the mice.
It's not even that for me. It's that with the 250.
And the bat chat having the 4 autoloaders.
Precisely.
Yeah.
A lot of burst and a lot of risk.
Yeah.
So there's it
Which
can work.
On the offense, having a lot of burst can be useful if you can leverage it right, because if you make that push, you can focus out the first few tanks when you push in, because you're going to pay a toll when you push into some sort of defense, crossfire. Having that burst to kind of balance it out and get those shots off once you've paid that toll quickly can work in your favor.
But there's the nuance of okay, once you run out of shells, once your burst is spent,
have you done enough damage to make it worth it?
Exactly. And now we're going to see if Aquatic AM60s can show us this concept in action.
Spirit Walker.
That's fine. You take a hit, whatever, pay the toll, keep going. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop.
Spirit is going to be in a world of hurt here. He's overcommitted. They're going to dump in with these autoloaders, and I don't see any more damage coming out. He's going to try to push forward, get another shot onto Pupil, but Mr. Man making quick work of him, and down he goes. Free tank for Aquatic AM60s.
All right, nicely played. There we go. With that, it's going to be F7 to respond. Their bat chats are way in the on the back side of the field. They're away from everything that matters. And there we go. Chase is going to start taking some damage. He's going to start having to back off, but look at that. Half of Felix's hit points get just chopped off.
And the bat chats are pushing around, and not just in such an awkward place. He's being focused out. If he's not careful, it's going to be a second tank going down. He doesn't have many choices. He has a little bit of this building that he could try to get his front plate behind, try to stay alive, but
he'll be safe.
The 50Bs might be able to find some shots, bouncing one off the turret.
Nice hard shots to
there
make.
For Pupil.
Those are very difficult.
And this is going to be a second take down for F7. Aquatic AM60s showing up the play on Ghost Town so far.
There we go, finally. Shell bounces off, get clicked. Of course, mouse versus mouse.
And these bat chats have been largely out of the fight so far into this game.
You talking about Halo and Ali the Persian dude?
Yeah, they kind of went around. They went out towards the 8-9 line. They cut back. They haven't been guns into this fight. Well, they're bleeding so much HP. And now the push is coming out here, and this could be get clicked on going. This is already looking bad for F7.
But look at this, Ali the Persian dude onto the T57, focus out the autoloader quickly. Of course, it looks like he's spent all his ammo and is just kind of being in the way. There we go. Nice focus onto Mr. Man. Felix goes down. Strong counter by F7, but they are down on hit points. Yes, you are right about that one. Now, Ali's down. 3 tanks alive for F7, 4 tanks alive for Aquatic M60s. Looking at the current situation, Rox, Aquatic seems to have this.
They need to get the Sturv a little bit more into the fight. He doesn't have the greatest shots towards that 2-cap. He's getting some shots through the buildings here, but at this point, when there's only 3 guns left alive, they need that consistent fire in the fight to even have a chance right now. They have balanced out the HP a little bit, despite being down on guns, only down 2K. Not as bad as it started off with, but M60s have all the control right now. They have the 2-cap, they have the cap pressure, they have 2 on cap, and they know that there's a Sturv up on the boost, which means he's not in the middle, and it's going to take a while to get him into the fight to where he can be effective. So, you gotta like to favor Aquatic M60s right now.
There we go, shot out from Knight. No connection. 12 seconds. Halo's moving in on the backside. 6, 5. Halo's down.
And that's going to be cap. That's going to be a 3-2 scoreline with Aquatic M60s pulling one back.
Not bad. Well played. That was the brawl you needed. It was risky at the opening part, but because it doesn't look like F7 was ready for just a blitz play where 3 autoloaders go just straight north with 0 confirmation of a target.
And the other thing I didn't like was the guns weren't really in position to deal with that cross. They only had the mouse and the 158 to cover Spirit Walker. The Sturv was too far out of draw, and the bat shots were also backed by the STRV. So, you know, at the end of the day, there just wasn't enough guns to punish that sort of cross. And when you have a 5A, well, it has good DPM. It does not have good burst, so it's not going to be able to fend for itself versus 3 tanks.
Precisely. It didn't matter really what tank you had out there. It was
could have been
going
mouse.
to die.
It was going to die. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't disagree at all.
Yeah, it's tricky because if you're going to dedicate tanks to the northwest when you're the defender, you can't put everything out there because what happens if you get an east side push, right?
Yeah.
What happens if...
But that's why you bring the bat shots, the flexibility. You know, kind of gives you that off to respond.
But you kind of have to take a guess.
Yeah.
A little bit. A little bit.
Kind of Russian roulette-ish, kind of like Cliff can be a lot of the times. But in this case, not what ended up happening, and they just didn't have the guns. And looking at the damages here, Knight doing what he could, 2,900, 55 fantasy points. Felix, Big Cheese, and Mr. Man all having decent games. Zoned, putting up about 1,800, 27 fantasy points. Drops off after there. And then on to the second page, you know, looking at it, Chase Potato, Spirit, not really able to get into the fight. Marsh did get focused out a little bit early, but not really able to be effective. And got clicked on was the 3rd tank focused out when M60s decided to make that overall decisive push and push in and just end things.
Yeah, pretty much. Now, timer has started. Looks like we're going to get some tanks readied up as we go into, well, battle
number 6. We're going to flip sides here onto Ghost Town. So it will be F7 having to attack on 113, 2 mice, 57, 2 5As, and a bat chat coming in for F7. Aquatic M60s, on the other hand, bringing 250Bs, 3 mice, 5A, and the bat chat. That's going to be a lot of mice for F7 to deal with. They did bring 2 of their own in at 57, so hopefully they should be able to make quick work of it. Pretty much every tank that F7 brought fires heat. Notice that, except for the mice. Mice fire the APCR, but everything else. You got the 5As, the 57, the 113, the bat chat, they all have heat. So the mice, you know, can deal with the mice on mice easily enough. And then all those autoloaders, Chinese tanks should be able to make quick work of them if they need to.
Interesting thing to know. Yeah, that means, well, looks like number 1 cap. Probably doesn't work in the long run.
Yeah, and F7 leaving the bat chat in the south. 5A playing the same position that we just watched Spirit get countered at. But Aquatic M60's playing a more aggressive defense, pushing up. Chase Potato takes a shot as he pushes on to cap.
But Shell has returned into Pupil, so net positive for F7 as far as damage. And it looks like the Tell is going to be there. Tanks from the southwest look like they're going to start moving. Bat chat's moving from the north to the south, not directly off the cap. You're not going to have anyone on the A line trying to reset. Everything's going to be coming from the south, attacking north. What's to note about that is, well, oh, Batchet turns around. Looks like he's going to go to the A line. Okay, there we go. And that's the play.
5A and the 50B closing around in the backfield here, just closing distance. Now there's 3 tanks on cap, so 20 seconds. So M60s do need to try to find some sort of a reset here. Spirit just holding the outside angle, trying to punish tanks, trying to get in there. And the bat chat is going to have to close for Aquatic M60s. 1 reset comes through, but it's not enough. He's finding the shot on get clicked on. He does get 1 big reset.
Big Cheese and Marsh move out into the open. They recognize that they have to stop cap. They can't hold back. And there we go. Big Cheese out in the open, get clicked, trying to stay safe, taking damage. There we go. Aquatic is holding well enough. And they just have to watch out on this damage.
But now Spirit Walker and the bat chat are coming behind, and this crossfire may be complete for F7. They should find Giggles. Felix should go next. And this could be what F7 needed. They forced M60s to respawn the way they wanted to, and now it's just a matter of cleaning up the brawls. They have the isolations. Feel My Potato is alone. Get clicked on is down to a 1 shot, and Get clicked on is just trying to ignore him, trying to find the shot onto Mr. Man before he goes down. Cover shots coming in, gonna keep Get clicked on alive. Sometimes I hate people for the names they choose. Meanwhile, Spirit Walker.
Pupil looks and finds a kill onto Ali, but he's going to go down instead. 2 left for Aquatic. F7 has 5.
And that was going to be very well played for F7. A little bit worried there, but the cap pressure forced M60s to respond. And F7 were in position to clean it up.
Yep. F7 split Aquatic, put a roadblock in just the right spot, forced 2 mouse into a bad engagement, and 1. Nicely played. That's what we want. That's what you want to see.
And that is going to be a 4-2 lead for F7. Overall, I like the idea there. It was, very, very clear what they wanted to do. They wanted to get the cap pressure, make the other team have to respond, to get the resets, and then once they got the resets, they understood. All right, guys, now it's go time. Now it's time to brawl. Didn't hesitate and took them down. So rather good stuff there.
It's exactly what you want to see. There's not a lot else aside from that. I have to say, like,
pretty
when you saw the Aquatic opening positions and the way they responded, there was a little bit of hesitation here and there. That could have changed it, the way the battle went, because we saw Batchat loop south, come back around north a little bit. We saw some plays where it was, I don't know if Aquatic was just kind of surprised. They thought more shells would land, or they kind of thought things would go differently. But very often you see the defender have to deal with this dilemma, right? Too many tanks on cap, and they have enough cover. And there's this roadblock in just the right spot that I can't get those perfect reset shots on cap. And then it just gets all messy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just messy.
And looking at fantasy points, Spirit Walker having another strong game, 75 fantasy points, 3,200, making that T57 work very well. Knight, another 3,100, 70 fantasy points of his own, and Pupil also had a very strong game for M60s. However, the front page is dominated by the rest of F7. Doing pretty consistent across the board. No one really shining out outside of Spirit. Everyone else, doing their work as part of the team. Zoned on the last page there for F7. All the rest of Aquatic M60s. Mr. Man, 2K, got 1 solid clip off, got some vital resets, but that was really about it. And then poor Giggles got focused out the second Spirit came around that corner along with Zoned in that bat chat. Didn't really stand much of a chance. And now we are getting ready for Sand River.
Oh, yeah. Gonna get to see it one more time. So we'll have to wait and see what exactly the styles are, or what the opening strats are going to be for Aquatic and F7.
Yep.
Will they approach this from very similarly the EU-RU meta? Or are we going to see something we haven't seen before?
Yeah. Now, the other thing you do have to remember, though, is Aquatic M60s played this map back in the first season of Tier 10, because they've been around long enough to see it. Right. And then you look over at Danger Close, who I don't think have played this in the league rotation. So whatever they do is going to have to be pretty much drawn from scratch. Maybe Chase Potato has some ideas, but that would be about it.
I think there is experience on the map here. There's plenty of guys from Africa clans.
True. Very true. Back a long time ago.
Yeah.
That was bringing back some memories.
Sorry, that might be a little bit inside baseball. The Clan Wars map used to have North Africa and go into Europe.
It's changed continents over the year. The Africa, Europe, whatnot. And so when you say like the Africa map, you're referring to a very, very long time ago. And remember how we brought Artie, or we were talking about Artie earlier, not seen it? Well, fittingly enough, Get Clicked On is going to bring an Artie. Along with the 5A, 3 bat chats, a 140, and an STRV. Meanwhile, Aquatic M60s, nice 7, 2 5As, 3 bat chats, and an STRV of their own. Mr. Man playing that Sturv. Not too surprising there. However, it is going to be M60s defending, so we'll have to see if F7 can make that artillery work in their favor. So far, we haven't seen it this season. So it'll be interesting to see if the change 770, bringing the tier 10 Artie, how that kind of fits in with everything.
Yeah, I'm actually a little skeptical. Conk GC. It can work, but it's just the way elevations are can be a little tricky.
What you have to remember about switching to 770 is when we were at 768 before, that would have been a tier 8 Artie, but the other team would have either had 2 tier 9s or a tier 8 back then. So when you bring Artie, well, you're not gaining that much with the switch to 770. The other team is gaining
a whole
tier 10. So that's more HP, especially if it's something like a mouse or an IS-7. So,
and if you agree that a tier 10 artillery piece is worth its actual 10 points that it's valued at, there you go. Oh, hey, is he, okay.
He's looking for the shot onto Felix, using that Artie view. Got added to the game a couple patches ago.
I love it.
Fires a shot off. Is he going to get the connection? Well, probably got a splat there.
123. Blind shot. There you go.
RNG for you. He's going to be on reload a little bit longer.
Here's Felix, who just took a shell. He seems fine, though. Quite happy to drive up and off, go find something else to do. And, well, Aquatic is playing very passively. They're actually sitting still, Pupil and Big Cheese. They're not moving. They're just chilling. Both looking the same direction, too. It's like they're posing.
And the back chat's closing in the south for F7. Trying to close, but they're going to be in for a rude awakening when they come across that I7 down there.
No, Rude's not in the match.
You know what I meant. They're going to be in for a surprise.
Well, I mean, Rude Awakening's on top tier. They lost to Dare earlier. Rocks.
I know, Randall. I know.
Eh?
F7 are going to be in for real shock.
Every time you say Rude Awakening, I'm doing that.
Things are going south when they're going north.
Yeah.
Don't know what I'm going to do with you.
Honestly, no one knows. Anyway. What's Chase Potato going to do? Because this is a position I don't like so much, where Chase is. I've never liked putting a tank here for very long. Especially a heavy. Seems like a light tank position more so.
But Artie needs to, they need to get spots for that Artie. If they're going to make a tier 10 Artie work, you need to keep him firing consistently. And so far, we've only seen him fire one real shot.
Halo went for a sweet jump. Took 2 damage.
Exactly what you want to see.
Yeah. What Artie player? Oh, Giggles takes 550.
Well, that was a nice shot. I'm assuming that was get clicked on.
Yeah.
Get clicked on. Not bad.
That's his
needs to keep that up though. Needs to make this Artie worth it. In my opinion, you need to do around 3K damage with the new Artie mechanics. It's going to be kind of hard unless you can keep up the consistent lights.
He's got
Chase Potato
like 300 so far. I mean, that's cool, right?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to keep it up, and you know the clock is burning down. 3 minutes have gone.
So what you're saying is the scouts need to do their jobs.
Yep. Now, what I do like out of this side of F7 is they've recognized that there are tanks down in the south, and that's probably not an option. And that also means that the rest of the tanks are split. And it looks like they're just going to drive straight up the middle. Maybe they'll dump onto the heavy tanks if they're not spotted. There's no one in position for AM60s, so they could just do this. They could just go and take out those heavies.
Wait, do they see all this?
I think they have an understanding, because look at this path they're taking. They understand that the tanks are down there, and the bad shots are out of position.
No way.
This could be disastrous for AM60s.
Oh my goodness, they're actually going to do this. Are they going to time the Artie shell, too? Oh, do not tell me they're about to time that Artie shell.
Get the stun in there, stun the crews, and they're just going to push on to cap.
Oh, they're doing it. They're totally going to do it.
They don't realize what it takes for AM60s.
Shot out. There we go.
And now they're going to close into these heavies. They're isolated. This is going all wrong for Aquatic AM60s.
And all right for F7. There we go. 1 kill.
There it goes down 1.
We need the second one.
Here comes a second. I question whether F7 are going to be ready for Sand River. And it appears that they are. They have the answers.
They know what's up.
Great isolations. The Batjets are reloading. Now F7.
Oh, they're going to follow this with a fast cap? Yes.
Yeah, but here's the thing. F7 are going to respawn. Or F7. M60s are going to respawn. And these Batjets for F7 aren't loaded.
Shot out from Artie.
Doesn't get a connection. Now they're on cap.
No, that was the STRV taking damage. He did get hit.
Now they're still reloading and they're on cap. They're taking a lot of damage. The bad chats are coming in. This could go wrong for F7 despite all their hard work so far. 2 bad chats go down. Halo trying to get some shots off. 140 covering them in the backfield. They need to get Knight into this fight.
Marsh is on fire. It's burning.
And Halo just doing what he can to fire some shots. Mr. Man does finally take down Chase Potato, but the STRV of Zone and the 140 up to the north of Knight, getting what damage they can. 3 tanks left alive for M60s. The counter push was valiant, but not enough. And F7 still in control.
And another blind shot onto Mr. Man. That's already, again, get clicked on. Just throwing him out there.
He's clicking on Mr. Man, all right.
Yeah, just keeps clicking. And, well, I'm so sorry, Mr. Man. That's 2 shells that he's taken while not being spotted. Good
prediction there out of the Artie player, understanding that this is where he's likely to be. The Sturf can be kind of predictable in that regard, and doing a good job punishing it. Now the cap pressure is going to start up again for F7.
And the Sturf's taking damage, 407. He's down to 396 as he drops into a pit. Conk GC fires. 107 splash.
In the backfield that picks up the kill on to Fuel My Potato. Mr. Man down in the low field. Him and Marsh alive. And this is F7 moments away from picking up their first win of the season on the 2nd match day. The new boys up from Silver League. And that is going to not be it, as that's Knight picking up the kill onto Mr. Man, leaving Marsh alive. Artie just about to be loaded. Understands where he's going to be.
Oh,
he's trying to predict. You know, Spatchat's coming around. Trying to get in the bush. Oh, he's going to keep on driving.
Good driving, by the way. Not knocking over trees. Give him credit for that.
Yep, and they understand he's coming from the south. They're looking for him.
They know.
Spots come out.
Blind fire.
Doesn't get the Artie shot, but Halo and Spirit, or Halo and Zone looking for the shots.
He's going to go surfing, up and over, takes the shell.
And that is going to be it. That is going to be F7 walking away with a 5-2 victory over Aquatic M60s, proving pretty much everyone wrong, I'd have to say. We all predicted that was going to go for M60s.
Actually, I threw my prediction out the window.
Okay.
Thank you. I asked that it not be counted.
Okay.
Does that count?
Kind of, but your prediction that we have beforehand earlier in the day when you weren't second-guessing yourself was you in favor of M60s, so we're going to have to stick with that one. So either way, though, congratulations to F7 picking up their first win. Aquatic M60s just seeing a little bit behind the ball is the way I have to put it. You know, while F7 played well, they didn't do anything that was, you know,
they capitalized on those mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. They capitalized on some mistakes, arguably, that Aquatic M60s shouldn't have really made sometimes. A few of them that, you know, you definitely have to wonder about, like this one right here.
Well, that's a lot of F7 watching, too. That's also F7 doing a good job. But I see your point. He didn't make the jump the first time. He probably could have.
He didn't make the jump the second time, and just the knowing that that boost is so exposed now, and knowing that it can be countered, still trying, you know, taking the risk of going for it at that phase of the battle, you kind of have to wonder about.
Yeah.
And as the scores come in here, Knight putting up good damage. 3K, 3 kills, 75 fantasy points. Zone making that Sturf work, and only person on the top damage is Felix for M60s, and that's only less than half a full clip from a bat chat.
I think there's your main point about that one, is these guys just didn't get any damage on target, where the guys from F7 landed their shots.
The isolation of the 5As, you know, whether it was a coincidence or they kind of understood what was going on, they did a good job at countering out those 5As when the bat chats were out of the fight.
We've seen it also a few times today even. Sand River, 5As in the wrong position, get boxed out, and then they die. That's what happens when you leave them there. If you don't, well, things can actually go.
Yep, you got to bring them around to the south if you're going to take the rest of the tanks down to the south and play the inside of the berm, but then you have to close all the way around the south, make it all work and come together, but that's kind of how that north end has to be played. And looking at the fantasy points here, pretty solid performance by the F7 boys. Knight putting up 347, Halo 371, Ali the Persian Dude 350, Spirit Walker 337, very respectable. Zone 327, and get clicked on even doing 310 despite having some questionable games. Chase Potato 2,700 or 270 fantasy points, and the rest of M60s down there. Even Mr. Man having a relatively quiet night tonight, only 263. So anyone that picked the Danger Close guys on their fantasy teams are, let's call them Danger Close, on the F7 team, you know, they're going to
I was confused for a second because I was like, Danger Close? Oh yeah, I forgot. You keep thinking that they're still Danger Close.
Yeah, old habits die hard.
Yeah, it happens from time to time. Anyway, just good match there from F7. props to them. But, well, AM60s got a lot to work on, I think. We can both agree on that one.
Yeah, definitely. Both teams have a lot to work on. There was a lot of mistakes. It was not a perfect game from S7 by any means. You know, there was a lot of stuff that they could have done that could have been capitalized on by AM60s, and I think a more experienced team like your Elevates or your Eclipse, as they showed, will definitely capitalize on them. So definitely shouldn't get too far ahead of themselves. I mean, once again, it was solid job, capitalize on mistakes when they need to, but I think there's still a good margin for improvement.
Yeah, the point of the season we're in is we're getting a lot of an idea of where these teams stand relative to each other. First standings will finally come out where we'll have that 1 through 8 numbered out, and that'll be next week. But I think this is telling that F7's on a good track. If they keep this up, that's what we're gonna have to watch and see.
Yep. Well, speaking of F7, we are joined for a winners interview right now with, I believe, Zoned, and that is Zoned. How are you doing, man? It's gotta feel good to have your first win in the Gold League.
Feels pretty good. We got more points than Rival did last season, so we're feeling pretty good.
Whoa! Got Knight.
Good job, guys.
Knight's gotta feel pretty good about that.
Shout out to Knight.
Not bad. So, you guys kind of started off a little bit shaky on a few of the early maps. Then, that first game on Mines get clicked on, those boosts. It's got to be a little bit frustrating. How do you guys kind of keep it together to really capitalize here at the end? Was it kind of stressful early on, or are you guys feeling control most of the game?
We basically knew how long we wanted to have to boost that, so we gave him a time limit. Like, if you can't get in this time, we're gonna do something else. We're gonna drop it, and so he got it his last try. If he didn't hit it again, then we were just gonna bail it and do something else. So he finally got it. Thank God. But then once he got it, then we pretty much had that one.
All right, and then Sand River, I kind of questioned whether you guys had the experience to do well on this map, since it was a map that M60s had played in League a long time ago. No one on your team, to my knowledge, really had too much of experience on this in the attack defense format. How do you guys kind of formulate your plan? Did you realize that the batch chats were that far out of the fight, or was it just kind of we're going for this cap no matter what type of situation?
I think it was basically just like a comp call. We realized that we hadn't seen their bats really at all, and we were just kind of guessing that they were in the north. They were going to set for an aggro play, and so we went for the pick because Chase wasn't getting spotted at all, and so we saw those Wheezies were kind of exposed. We just went for the pick on them, and then I stayed there and managed to watch the other flank. And that was pretty much it.
All right, then my last question is: you guys brought Artie this last game. Obviously it did all right for you guys there. 1,800 damage is kind of negotiable. Do you feel that it's worth bringing more often than not? You think you want to second guess that and rather bring another tank in the future?
I'm not really sure. Our caller clicked. He really likes Artie, so he's always been like, "Oh, let's go Artie," and I'm always like, "Yeah, or not." But it worked out this time, so we'll change it up every now and then. We'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, that about does it for us. Any final thoughts or shout-outs?
Shout out to my friends in unofficial Silver League. My friend Aquatic Poi, he's running that. If any of you guys want to do Silver League, you'd like to get into Gold League, get practice, go do that. He's got a GoFundMe set up. I think you guys can donate to help them run that. I'd really appreciate it if you guys can help them out.
All right, nice. Fair enough. Well, thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week.
All right.
See you then.
Last things, though, guys. Social. Don't forget, @WGL.